when you look at GenAI and LLMs, what are the key use cases security leaders like you actually need to protect today?
So as a CISO, I really think about three things. First of all, I think about what are my employees using? Um, so sales or marketing is probably out there using some capability to produce content. My developers may be using it to review code or write code. If I'm in an industry like healthcare, recently when I was in, my doctor said, "Do you mind if I use AI to take notes today?" And so they're just recording our conversation and using that to auto generate notes. All of those bring up different issues. It's on the sales time. You know, do I want all my information out there? Is there anything proprietary? Is there, I don't want to release that we have something coming out next quarter, but if my sales team is in putting that into Gen AI, is someone else going to discover that because it's using it as part of the training model? Are my developers using some kind of code or putting proprietary code out there that other people can train on? And with things like healthcare and HIPAA or any regulated industry, am I compliant? And so first I need policies and procedures for how my employees are out there using it. Next, I need to work with the CIO and say, how are we going to use it internally within our tool set? So within my security operations center, if I have a traditional SIM that's monitoring all the incidents and trying to triage and mitigate threats, a junior analyst, if they could use natural language queries, might be able to say, where do I have, this certain protocol that now has a 0-day? What data is associated with the servers that have that protocol or are using that capability? And so normally that would be a level 2 or 3 doing all that analytics, but now a level 1 doesn't have to write any code, doesn't have to write any queries, doesn't have to configure anything. They can just go do that. So where should we be using it internally? And the final one is, are we going to offer anything as a service? Are we going to put AI out there as a chatbot, as a way for people to interact with our ordering system? And so I want to know where we're offering it as a service. And that's probably where I spend most of my time trying to protect it. Because, now it's open to the world and I have hackers directly attacking it.
And once you decide to use GenAI, the next big question is which model to trust? You've got public ones, private deployment, and now all of these hybrid setups. From a security standpoint, how should companies think about that choice?
The first is that open one that we see the public flooding to. Pick your flavor. There are so many of them out there. And it's a kind of a general service. I can go, write a better email with it. I can do a lot of things with it. And so these public or open AI models are very generic. If I want to train it to, for Akamai, and so Akamai, we provide content delivery, we provide cybersecurity, we provide cloud services. We have a lot of knowledge internally. And if I have a new employee coming in that wants to leverage that, I'd love them to be able to do that with a Gen AI kind of an interface. So you can run a proprietary service and you can ring fence yourself within, certain public ones as proprietary or private. And so then I'm putting all my data from all those services that Akamai does into this. And the model is using my data to provide those same kind of answers you would get from the open one. And then there's that final kind of the hybrid, where you tune an open model for yourself and you add some data in, but you're trying to get the best of both worlds. And this kind of comes down to whatever's our function, Is it a foundational thing? Are we domain specific? Is it a very specific task? I can go get an AI right now. Let's say you decided to write a science fiction novel. Well, you would go get Pseudo-Write, which is an AI that has an interface specifically designed for fiction authors. And could you do the same thing in ChatGPT? Sure, but you're not going to get the same experience. It's not going to be as easy. It's not going to be as tailored. And so, as you pick it, not only do you want to pick the type of infrastructure, but the type of partner based on what you want. And then the final thing we'll talk about is, as we move forward, do I want to enable agents or agentic AI? So I'll go back to my security operations, my SOC example. Do I need a human in the loop to mitigate some of these attacks? So there's a zero day that comes out. Do I want an agentic agent that's going to go identify what servers it has at anything that has valuable data on it? They're immediately going to segment it and put new controls in there. Or do I want a human in the loop to make sure we have no disruption in operation? So as we think about, what to do from a model or an infrastructure point of view, those are some high level thoughts.